Mr. Thompson, what case are you here on? What's the last name? Booker? Okay. His is marked for me too. Hi, Mr. Ruth. Good morning. Yes, thank you. All right. Madam Interpreter, do you need to be sworn in?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear for the translation of Spanish to English and Spanish in the testimony given today?
I do, to the best of my ability. Flavia Rodriguez, State Certified Court Interpreter.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defendant is indicating that he can hear me in the headset.
He can?
He can, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Cesar Rubén Cruz Díaz. Cesar Rubén Cruz Díaz.
Cesar Cruz Diaz.
This is case number 20 CF 7509. Sir, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of fentanyl, possession of heroin, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Cruz Diaz? Okay. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $3,500. Your bond on count 2, $150, 3, $150, 4, $100. And I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 4768. That will be set at none. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Aramis Milady Amador Amador.
Aramis Milady Amador Amador.
This is case number 20 CF 7511. You were arrested for 2 counts of possessing material depicting sexual performance by a child. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150.
What's that? That's from
Angela. Right. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. Your name, sir?
Héctor Manuel Brito Pérez.
Hector Manuel Brito Perez.
This is case number 20 CF 7481. You were arrested for shooting from a vehicle, shooting or throwing into an unoccupied vehicle, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. There is probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene. You are not to have any contact with the victim or witnesses in this case. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you do possess any weapons or firearms, sir, they need to be surrendered. The firearms need to be surrendered to the sheriff's office within 6 hours of your release from custody. Bond on count 1 is going to be $15,000. Bond on count 2 is $5,000. Bond on count 3 is $150. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Your name?
Ramón Novoa Allende.
Ramón Novoa Allende.
This is case number 19 CF 15066. Sir, you failed to appear for your plea hearing on June 16th of this year. At this time, your bond on count 1 is $30,000. Your bond on count 2 is $2,000. Thank you, sir.
¿Puedo salir fiado de los dos casos? Le preguntarle a ella.
Well, can you please ask her if I can post a bond in both cases?
I don't know about any other case except for the one I just told you about.
No, el otro me dieron 1,000 pesos de fianza. Faltaba que me dieran fianza para poder fiarme.
No, there's another one that I got $1,000 bond. I still had this one pending so that I could post the bond.
If you have a bond on all your cases, yes, then you can post your bond.
Ok, gracias.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Sí, mi nombre es Alexander Vega Alonso. Vega Alonso Alexander.
Alexander Vega Alonso.
Good morning, sir.
Buen día.
Good morning.
Courtney, is the case number correct on his out on bond form? I can't pull up the 20MM 23130. Yeah.
2020 MM 2313AL.
Oh, there's no, okay, 2313AL. There's no 0. That's not correct on the form. Mr. Vega Alonso, you were arrested in 20MM 4484 for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, do you have an offer for Mr. Vega Alonso?
Yes, for their adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, for costs, no return to the city for the trespass.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I cannot hear the attorney.
All right, Ms. Fusco, I'm just going to have to ask you to speak directly into the microphone. It's hard for the interpreter to hear you.
Yes, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, and no return to the scene of the trespass.
Do you want to accept that offer, sir?
Sí.
All right.
Yes.
And you also have 20MM 2313, which is also another trespass. Would you like to resolve that case as well?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Fusco, did you want to make an offer on that, or do you want him to plead to the court? Okay. So, Mr. Vega, you cannot go back to the Oak Ridge Plaza. Do you understand? To the laundromat.
Okay.
You have been trespassed from there.
Okay.
They know exactly who you are, so every time you go, they're just going to call the police and you're going to get arrested.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court this morning?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
No.
Do you understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Sí.
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
No.
All right, Mr. Vega, I'm going to accept your plea. In both cases, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to, on 2313, to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. It was 3. You have 3 days in that case, you'll get credit for 3 days time served. And then in 4484, sentence you to 2 days in jail, you've got credit for 2 days time served. Actually, there's 1 day. He was arrested today. There's 1 day in that case. Mr. Vega, you're going to have to pay court costs in both of those cases, which will be due by June 18th of 2021. And as I said before, you're not to return to that plaza. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to revoke the bond on the other bond case. Thank you, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Patricia Aguilar.
Patricia Aguilar.
This is case number 20 CF7510. You were arrested for possession of a counterfeit driver's license. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,500, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good morning. Your name? Why is that?
Héctor Luis Román Díaz. Luis Román Díaz.
Hector Luis Roman Diaz.
Sir, you're here in case number 20 MM4447. Your arraignment for the offense of resisting officer without violence. Ms. Fowler, how would he like to proceed?
Your Honor, he can't resolve his case today. He has an offer of adjudication of guilt, 39 days. He has 39 days in. Court cost of investigation, Orlando Police Department, $107.55. No contact with victim or witness. No return to Ruben's Tire Service, and abide by trespass warning.
Okay, so he's charged with resisting officer without violence. I don't know who the victim or witness would be. I'm not going to tell him that he can't have contact with a police officer because he can't control that.
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Roman Diaz, did you want to accept the offer?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you read the plea form before court, sir?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
No.
Do you understand, if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yo sí. Sí.
I am. Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
No.
Sir, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 39 days in jail. You have credit for 39 days time served. You are going to have to pay the cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of, is it $170? $170.55, including your court costs. You're not to return to the scene. Your court costs are going to be due by June 18th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court writing, sir. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Your Honor. The case number was 2020 MM447.
4447, 34.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Sharon, is that the only damage on one document? Okay. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Héctor Iribarren.
Hector Iribarri.
Yes.
Sir, you were before the court this morning so that I can advise you at this time you have an immigration detainer. So until that's resolved, you won't be able to bond out of the jail. Thank you, sir.
Una orden perdón, que no entiendo.
Detention
understand,
order.
please.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I do not understand.
You have an immigration hold.
Pero yo no estoy aquí originalmente por inmigración, sino por otra cosa, ¿no? Bueno,
But I'm not here for anything related to immigration, right? I'm here for something else.
You have a pending battery charge, correct. But when you came into the jail, immigration is now aware that you're here.
exacto.
So you have a hold.
Ah, ok, perfecto. Ya es otra cosa.
Oh, okay.
Ahora es cuando me entero.
Perfect. That's something else. I find out just now. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ok. Eso es todo.
Would that be all?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. May I please request a case number?
Sure. It's related to 20 MM 4480. How about Mr. Martinez? He's on the add-on docket. It's for a status hearing for Monroe County.
I wasn't aware of him. Hold on one second, Your Honor.
Sure, no problem. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name.
Jorge Martinez.
Jorge Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, this is a status hearing on a case out of Monroe County, 19 CT 648. Per Judge Jones, he is not going to modify your bond amount at this time. I have appointed the public defender to represent you here in Orange County so that they can try and coordinate with the attorneys in Monroe County to see if maybe they can work out some sort of resolution on your case. You're going to get a form there that'll tell you how to contact the attorneys here in Orange County.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Una pregunta. ¿No puedo hacer una pregunta?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Yo había tenido una orden el 18 de septiembre. Yo fui a la corte, pero yo no sabía que yo tenía otra orden. No sé por qué me sucedió eso.
I previously had a court date on September 18th, and I went to my court date, but I did not know I had another court date. I don't know how that happened.
Sir, I don't have any additional information about that. So like I said, you'll have to contact the lawyers here, and then they can help you coordinate with Monroe County.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Is Samuel Pellet Spanish?
That's what I was told. Alec, you Spanish? Yeah, ma'am.
1 second, Your Honor.
Sure. Good morning, your name?
Yo no me recuerdo de nada. Yo vengo de los planetas.
I don't remember anything. I come from a different planet.
Okay. Dexter, can you tell me the name on his ID card, please?
Samuel Palat.
Yo soy uno de los...
I'm one of the...
Mr. Platt, listen very carefully to me. You are here on a motion to grant your release. I'm going to give you one additional time to cooperate with me. If you are not going to do that, I'm going to have you removed from the courtroom and I'm going to deny the motion. So I'm going to ask again. What is your name?
Yo vengo de los planetas. Yo no me acuerdo de nada.
I come from a different planet. I do not remember anything.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pellet. I'm denying the motion. This is 20MM 4341. Ms. Fowler, if you want to maybe go to try to talk to him and see maybe if you can get reset on another day, but I'm going to deny it today. And is that the last Spanish? Yes. All right. Madam Interpreter, that's the last Spanish case. Thank you so much for your help today.
You're very welcome, Your Honor. Have a good morning.
You too. All right, go ahead, Dexter.
Elena Albandor
Yes.
is medical, Your Honor.
Okay. That's 20MM 4466. I'm going to reset that case. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Good morning, Shania Britton.
Ms. Britton, you're going to have to speak right into the microphone, please.
Shania Britton.
Thank you. This is case number 20MM 4456. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay.
Is there a witness here for Ms. Britton? Okay. Ms. Britton, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return one time with the police to do so, you may.
Okay.
You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Ms. Britton, who has your baby?
My own sister, Jaquela
Okay.
Britton.
Okay. And then, Ms. Britton, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
William, Will.I.am, Keith, Hamlet, like Shakespeare, with a B.
Yes, sir.
L-A-T-T.
Mr. Hamlet, you have a couple cases here this morning. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all of them. You have 20 CF 5905, you were arrested for 2 counts of passing a forged or altered instrument and grand theft. This was pursuant to a probable cause habeas. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $2,500. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $150, sir.
I've been on probation for like almost going on 3 years, and I went and did this through Seminole County for mental health court. I completed 2 years probation on these charges or charges similar. Okay, 2 years, and I went in front of a judge, and they gave me the plaque and everything. I completed it, and then I'm on probation because me and my mother's difficulties, and I'm on probation there, and I've got like 9 more months on it. So when did these charges come about? Because sounds like something way back in the past.
It was. And the date in the information alleged is December 16th of 2017. So you're correct. It was about 3 years ago.
How can they bring charges up on me in that long period of time? Don't they got like 6 months on felonies?
So, Mr. Hamblett, I need you to speak right into the microphone so that everyone can hear you. I can't listen to me. I understand you're frustrated. Stop talking, please. Mr. Hamblett, listen to me. I'm trying to help you. You have to ask your lawyer those types of questions, okay? I don't know what types of defenses you may have. I'm simply informing you of why you're here. So I have to finish telling you all of the other reasons why you're here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, can I ask for leniency, ma'am, because I don't understand.
I know that you don't understand, but I don't have the ability to resolve your case today. Today, that's not going to happen. Today is me telling you why you're here and then setting your bond amounts. You're going to have to talk to your lawyer about all these other issues that you are bringing up to me. I'm not saying that they're not valid, but I don't have the ability to resolve those issues for you.
Is mental health court still open for me in this? Because I had it for the other one. It's the same situation,
Mr. Hamblett, again, I don't have that information today.
I need to get a mouthpiece on this.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we on the same page?
Okay. So how much bond is that all together? 25, that's 5, 6, 5, 5,200 and something?
It sounds right to me, Mr. Hamblett.
So I need $500 to get out.
Yes. Sir, you're not to return to the scene or have any contact with any of the victims or witnesses.
What are the victims?
It would be the clerks at SunTrust Bank. So you can't go back to the SunTrust Bank.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay?
Not a problem.
And then you also have case number 19 CF 841, which is a violation of probation based upon the fact that
how can they violate me?
Law offense. Just a second. Let me talk. I do not find probable cause for the violation of probation because he was placed on probation on March 19th of 2019, and this offense allegedly occurred in 2017. So I'm going to release him ROR on the violation of probation. I think that's everything. All right. Thank you, Mr. Hamblett.
What was the charges for the $100 something bond?
What's your question?
You said you had 2 charges that had like $100 and something bond. What were those? You said
I told you have, Mr. Hamblett, listen. You have 2 counts of passing a forged instrument and 2 counts of grand theft. 4 total counts.
The grand
Thank
theft
you, Mr. Hamblett.
is a $100 bond?
Mr. Hamblett, you have to talk to your lawyer about the bonds, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Amari Hendricks.
Ms. Hendricks, you were here in 20 MM 283. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. Hendricks? Okay. Ms. Hendricks, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need to return to the house one time with the police to get your things, you may do so. And Ms. Hendricks, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I ordered?
Pre-trial release mean I go home?
That does, yes.
Okay.
Sean Matheny is mental health.
Okay. That's 20 MO 715. Ms. Fowler, I had appointed your office yesterday. Do you want to await his appearance? All right. He was arrested for disorderly conduct. At this time, I'm going to release him on his own recognizance. He needs to appear at all court dates. Mr. Lauren?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I have Richardson next. Kareem Richardson.
Oh, I have Kareem Lauren Richardson. Yes, you're right. I just missed
mental
the
health, Your Honor.
Okay, that's going to need to be reset.
And Roberto Rodriguez is medical.
That'll have to be reset.
Miss Woods, Willie is mental health.
That'll have to be reset.
The first one was medical and you gave mental health, but mental health, mental health. I'm just gonna put medical.
That's fine. Good morning. Are you Mr. Young?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You are here in 20 CF 7488. You were arrested for battery when prior, domestic violence. There's probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am. I'll just ask you to please speak right into the microphone so that we can all hear you. And were you here when the clerk swore everyone in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Could you tell me your name, please?
Denise Davenport.
All right, Miss Davenport, do you want to have contact with Mr. Young?
Yeah.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
How long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Young?
5 years.
And during the course of your relationship, have there been any instances of violence between the two of you?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. And how many times?
3.
Okay. Do you live together, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you live together?
No. Not anymore. We're homeless.
Mr. Young, at this time I'm going to order, well, I'm sorry, Ms. Fusco, did you have any questions for the witness?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Young, I'm going to order you not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. I'm going to set your bond at $500, sir.
You also had this from yesterday, man.
Yeah, thank you. And then, Mr. Young, you have 20 MM 4469. You were arrested for violation of a domestic injunction. There's probable cause for that as well, sir. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are to abide by the injunction that is in place. Your bond is going to be $1,500. And then, Mr. Young, you also have a failure to comply with a domestic violence case where you failed to appear. Pardon me? Right, I have to inform him now. I have the order. Thank you, Courtney.
Excuse me, can I ask you one question?
Sure, ma'am. Just give me 1 minute, okay? It's 20 mm 4469. Sure. Mr. Young, you're going to be released on the domestic violence injunction case. Your court date is August 7th at 10:45 a.m., sir. You need to provide completion of completing the Certified Batterers Intervention Program.
So that's not the date of the bond.
Excuse me?
Is this the case that had the $1,500 bond? There's no bond?
No, he has a domestic violence case. It's in the domestic relations division. It's a DR case. It's not a criminal case. And that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you very much.
All right. Ma'am, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to know if I can have contact, no hostile contact, because he has to do some things for me, take care of some business.
No, ma'am, you'll have to have a judge modify that order. The order today is no contact. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning. This is Mr. Booker. Is that right, sir? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Mr. Booker, it's hard to hear with the mask on, so make sure you speak right into the microphone for me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, this is case number 20 CF 7518. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Are you still working at the public defender's office? Oh, okay. Do you represent him on another case?
No, on this case. I know him, so we have some information that was brought to that I'm aware of that could possibly lead to a stand ground motion and possible communication of the victim in the case with the primary aggressor. But if we could have Mr. Booker released on pre-trial release and there's no contact order in place with the alleged victim to ensure her safety, I will forego my arguments here. We can do that. He has very little history.
Is there a witness here for Mr. Booker?
No.
Okay. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard?
I do see that he qualifies for PTR, Your Honor, but as the requirement for authorities that he's done it before, we would ask for a bond to be set and also ask for the surrender of the firearm.
I have arguments to be made if the court's inclined for the pre-trial release. That's all we're asking for. Matter of fact, it might be the better scenario because he could be monitored while he's on the outside. It may better ensure that safety of the victim.
So, Mr. Booker, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you do need to return to the home to get your things, you may do so one time with law enforcement.
About the home, it's actually his house. They do not live together.
Okay, well, then that shouldn't be a problem. Mr. Booker, I am going to place you on pretrial release. I'm going to require that you check in with them weekly. And you need to surrender any firearms that are in your possession within 6 hours of your release to the police. Do you understand? Do you have any questions at all about what I've ordered?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Mr. Ruth, you had Mr. Parker, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, your name?
Sean Parker, Your Honor.
Mr. Parker, good morning. You're here in 20 CF 7526. I have your attorney, Mr. Ruth, here in the courtroom. Sir, you were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, false imprisonment, criminal mischief greater than $1,000, and battery dating violence. There is probable cause. I do see that there is a witness here. Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name, please. Okay, and then, Mr. Ruth, did you want to inquire of Ms. Wilkerson?
No, Judge, I spoke for
previously did the hearing. She doesn't want any contact or agreement to that standard.
Okay. Ms. Wilkerson, is there anything else that you wanted to say to the court this morning?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Am I gonna have to show, like, return again for court?
So the state attorney's office is gonna make contact with you. They're, who's responsible for prosecuting the case. They'll have someone from their office reach out to you and explain the process.
Okay.
And what would be required going forward.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My understanding is that the Parker has no prior criminal history. We're just asking for the standard bond.
Okay. He does qualify for pretrial release.
He does live or will be living out of the area, either in South Florida or out of state with family, so we would ask for the bond.
Okay. Mr. Parker, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. I'm going to set bond on count 1 at $1,000, bond on count 2, $150, 3, $150, 4, $100.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right. You gonna be here tomorrow? Have a good day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
Richard Davis.
Mr. Davis, you are here in case number 20 CF 7522. You were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Davis? All right, Mr. Davis, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription, and I'm going to order random urinalysis as well. Mr. Davis, do you have any questions about anything I ordered?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Go ahead.
Well, me and the victim, we work together, live together, and we have a child together. And DCF came in, talked to me, and she said, in order for me to get my kids, me and the mother have to make up an arrangement, for me to see and get my kids.
Okay. So today, that's something you're going to have to talk with DCF about and your attorney. I can't order, or I'm not going to order contact between you and the victim because she's not here to give me any of her input. So that's a motion that your lawyer can file later.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can also talk to DCF about them assisting you in putting together a plan, and then you can share that with the court to see if the order can be modified.
Okay.
What kind of work do you do?
We work in a family business called Golf Drive-In off of OBT and Church Street.
Okay. What is that?
It's an ice cream shop.
Okay.
Like a small business.
I think I know exactly what one it is. If you're heading south, it's on the right-hand side?
It's right across the street from the OPD station.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we live right around the corner from there, so me and her and our kids. But she's staying at her mom's house, the DCF placed us on a 2-week order where we can't be around the kids together.
Right.
So, she's going to be at her mom's house for them 2 weeks until further notice, until the DCF says her and the kids can come back home.
Right. So do you work at the same time?
Some weekends we do, yes.
So you're not going to be able to do that. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you can't go to work, but if she's at work, you're going to have to kind of use a third party to coordinate the work schedule so that y'all aren't there at the same time.
Okay, so I will let the boss know we can't work together.
You cannot work together until that's modified, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot have contact with her,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Devin Hoffman.
Mr. Hoffman, this is 20 CF 7523. You were arrested for false imprisonment, dating violence, and battery domestic violence. There's probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Hoffman? All right, Mr. Hoffman, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if needed. Bond on count 1 will be $1,000. Bond on count 2 will be $100. Sir, do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
Yes, ma'am. I got a quick question.
Sure.
The other lady that I guess you would call it the victim.
Okay.
She lived with me in my mama's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, when Orange County came, she was supposed to get her belongings and move back to her folks' house, which she lives about 5 miles down the road from me.
Okay.
I don't have. That's my mom and dad's house that she was staying with me in. And my mom moved to Carolina, and my dad just moved to Georgia for some health issues. So I've been the one taking care of the house and stuff.
So if she's not there, let me just stop you. If she's not in the house, then you can stay there.
Yes, ma'am. She was supposed to get her belongings yesterday when Orange County was there. One of them brought me here, and then the other 3 were supposed to help her get her belongings. And
Okay, well, listen, if she's not there, then you can live in the house.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Whatever.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
James Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, this is 20 CF 7524. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault on a person over the age of 65 with a deadly weapon. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Lynn Chamberlain.
All right. And Miss Chamberlain, are you married to Mr. Kelly?
Mr. Kelly and I are married. We use different last names.
And how long have you been married?
It will be a year on July 6th, but we've known each other about 8 years.
Are you afraid of Mr. Kelly?
I'm not afraid of him at all. This is sort of a convoluted situation. I am a bone cancer patient. I take numerous prescription drugs. The night that this incident took place, we had gone out for an early dinner at Miller's Ale House. Both of us had a little bit to drink. I came home. I took several of my medications at one time, which is probably a no-no. One of the drugs that I am on is Marinol, which I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it is synthetic Marinol. It's THC.
Okay.
It makes me loopy, to be exact.
Okay.
And so a lot of this that happened that night was me overreacting. Anytime anybody touches me, my legs or arms, I freak out because my bones are very fragile.
Sure.
And I'm afraid that something's going to get broken. But nothing did. I had no bruises or anything.
Okay. Do you want him to come back to the house?
I need his help. We live on a second-story apartment, 15 stairs going up. It would be very difficult for me to live there by myself.
All right. And you don't have any concerns about your safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
Pardon me?
You don't have any concerns about your safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
Whatsoever.
All right. Ms. Fusco, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Have there been prior instances of violence between you?
No.
Related to the fact that you did put a knife to her neck, we would ask for no contact.
It's a knife, and it really wasn't aimed at me. He also threw a bottle at me, which was an empty plastic bottle that was thrown from the kitchen that passed through into the living room. It didn't come anywhere near me. We had been arguing most of that day. This is not commonplace. It just happened.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Chamberlain. Ms. Fowler, do you have any questions? All right. Mr. Kelly, you are not to have any hostile contact with your wife. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. All right. Mr. Kelly, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
What's that?
You'll be released later today. Mr. Kelly, you also have reporting requirements when you are released from the jail. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you. Any questions, ma'am?
No, so is he going to be able to come home with me today?
Yes, he will. He'll be released later today.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. Your name?
Daniel Osu.
Sir, this is 20 CF 7525. You were arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer, battery, domestic violence, and violation of a domestic injunction. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Laltu? Sir, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you are to abide by the injunctions that are currently in place. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 will be $100. Bond on count 3 will be $500. Thank you, sir. You too. Good to see you, Mr. Thompson. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Kevin Myrie.
Mr. Myrie, you were arrested in 20 CF 7391. This was pursuant to a warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence, tampering with a witness, and battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Myrie? Mr. Myrie, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need to return to the house one time with police to get your things, you may do so. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $100. Mr. Myrie, do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Serge Bonholm.
Mr. Bonholm, sir, you are here in case number 20MM4471. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Bonholm? Mr. Bonholm, I'm going to order that you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with the police to get your things, you may do so. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Your name, sir?
Pickle Flanagan, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Flanagan. This is 20MM288. Sir, you were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Pamela Aikman.
And ma'am, do you want to have contact with Mr. Flanagan?
No.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Flanagan, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. If you need to go back with the police one time to get your things, you may do so. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms, sir. And your bond Mr. Flanagan, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Your name?
Sean Luno.
Mr. Luna, you are here in 20MM 289. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Lunau? Mr. Lunau, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you do need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, you may do so. Mr. Lunau, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Shannon Quintana.
This is 20MM 4472. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Miss Quintana? Sir, you are not to have any, or ma'am, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, you may do so.
And I don't have a bond or anything, or?
That's what I'm figuring out right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set your bond at $1,000. And then I'm going to, on 20 CF 5691, does she have RUAs on that case? Okay, thank you, Courtney. Nope, okay. So on your out on bond case, Ms. Quintana, I'm not going to revoke your pretrial release, but I'm going to add random urinalysis to that case. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Your name?
Jonathan Vereen.
Mr. Vereen, this is 20MM 4489. You were arrested for stalking domestic violence. There is probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please. Ma'am, you have to speak right into the microphone. All right. Ma'am, do you want to have contact with Mr. Vereen? No? All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Vereen, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
If you need to return to the home one time with the police to get your things, you may do so. Your bond is $1,000, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions, ma'am? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name? Miss Burt, this is 20MM 524. You were arrested for leaving the scene of a crash with property damage. Does she have two cases or just one? Oh, here's the second one. You also have 20MM 520. You were arrested for petty theft. There's probable cause for both of the offenses, ma'am. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to, is it Walmart? You're not to have any contact with the victim in the traffic accident case. Your bond on the petty theft is $500. Your bond on the leaving the scene is also $500. Thank you, ma'am. Eric Pelding, is that the one? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Are you Miss Fisher?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Fisher, you were here in 20 CT 3862. You were arrested for DUI. With damage to property or a person of another.
Your Honor, I was on my methadone medicine. It's a prescribed
Ma'am,
medicine.
I want you, listen, I understand that you might have a defense to the case, but it's not the day to tell.
Okay.
Right, so everything in here is recorded. That's something you're gonna wanna speak to your lawyer about, ma'am.
Okay.
I do find that there is probable cause. Ms. Fisher, I am going to place you on pretrial release. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. And I'm going to order random urinalysis as part of. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Michelle Johnson.
Miss Johnson, you are here on a failure to appear in 17 CT 8283. This is related to a driving while license suspended case. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed. So the driving record that I have indicates that you have one prior driving while license suspended conviction in 2017. Is there any reason that Ms. Johnson couldn't resolve her case today, Ms. Fowler? Okay. Ms. Johnson, I want to explain something to you. The offense of driving while license suspended is an enhanceable offense, not only criminally, but it has an effect on your ability to get a driver's license. So if you get 3 driving while license suspended convictions within 5 years, you will lose your ability to get your driver's license for 5 years. Okay? And in certain situations, if your license is suspended as a habitual offender and you get another charge, that can be filed as a felony.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you entered a plea to this case today, you would have 2 convictions within 5 years. So if you were to get another one, you would lose your license for 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to pay your bond or do you want to resolve your case?
Resolve my case.
Okay. And you understand everything I just explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court this morning?
I have it right here, the paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No.
You're not on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to accept your plea. I'm going to withhold adjudication. Do you know how many days she has? Two? Okay. I'm going to sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by June 18th of 2021. Ms. Johnson, also, if you fail to pay those court costs, your license will get suspended again, and you'll have to reinstate that as well. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so make sure you pay the court costs.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Orr bonded, Your Honor.
All right.
And Christina Rames refused.
Ms. Fowler, I'm going to appoint your office. Do you want to waive her appearance? All right. That's 20 CT 3869. She was arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. The public defender is appointed, and I'm going to stay the bond at 500. I'm not going to revoke the out on bond cases. Mr. Rivera?
Also bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, good morning. Are you Miss Yensel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is 20 MM 120. Your arraignment for the offenses of battery, domestic violence, and resisting officer without violence.
Yes.
You are represented by the public defender. And Ms. Fowler, are you entering a plea of not guilty at this time? All right, Ms. Yensel, I'm going to give you a court date. Your court date is going to be in Division 50. Pretrial conference is July 13th at 2:30 p.m. and that's in courtroom 7C.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are we doing the add-on right now? Okay. Ms. Disco, are you ready on the 33-day motions? Oh, excuse me. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Tell me your name.
My name is Brandon Bullerin.
Mr. Bullerin, you are here for a status hearing out of Volusia County. Sharon, or Courtney, can you tell me how many counts that he has total? 3?
Jackie had filled it out for herself.
Oh, good.
And
Okay.
then she gave us a copy of his actual custody.
Okay.
Other than the other.
I just wanted to know, because the notes say that the judge responded it's a blanket bond, but I know you can't do that. So I just wanted to know how to split it up.
And it was 3, 1, 2 of these here. That's been the one.
Okay. There's 3 counts there. So Courtney, the one case has 3 counts, and then the second case has 1 count. Is that what you have? Got it. Okay. Mr. Bullerin, I spoke to the judge, Judge Nichols, regarding your case in Volusia County. At this time, you have a $6,000 bond. It's $1,000 for each count. On each of your cases, you've got 3 counts. Bond is set at $1,000.
Okay, I have a quick question to ask. I'm indigent. Okay.
Yes.
And so my question is, I've been reading up on my Florida statute. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if I'm indigent, doesn't that make me susceptible to pretrial release? Correct?
No. But that's something you can talk to your lawyer more about.
Okay.
And if I didn't before, I will appoint the public defender to represent you here in Orange County on this case, so that way you have local counsel who can attempt to coordinate this with Volusia County to see if you can get something resolved, if that's something you want to do. Okay, sir?
Okay, I do have a question. Can you run that by me again about what the amount is? Because I know I have two different cases.
So your total bond amount for both cases is $6,000.
Okay, so it went from 60,000 down to 6,000, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
6 is the total amount.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Judge, one of his cases was 100, so I'm raising that one to 1,000, so each count.
Every count is 1,000. For 6,000 total. Good morning.
Morning.
Tell me your name.
Victor Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, this is a status hearing out of Volusia County. At this time, the judge in Volusia County has indicated your bond is to remain at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you in coordinating with Volusia County on your case.
So why I don't have a bond?
That's something you'll have to talk to your lawyer about. They can file a motion, but as it stands today, the judge does not want to modify the warrant. So you'll have to talk to your lawyer about what legal options and remedies you may have.
So I got a question because I'm not going to Volusia County, right?
I don't think so. And that's why I've appointed the Orange County public defender to help you.
So I could be able to get a bond?
You have to talk to them about that. They can certainly answer your questions and help you decide how you want to proceed with your case.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, sir. Your name?
Jartavius Ingram.
Okay, Mr. Ingram, you are here for an out-of-county status hearing, Osceola County 20 CF 1612. Per Judge Morgan, you are to be held at no bond as to count 1, which is the armed home invasion at this time. Bond on count 2 is $10,000. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to coordinate with Osceola County to file any appropriate motions on your behalf, sir.
Okay, when I went to first appearance, she said I should get a bond on the first and second count.
That I don't know, sir. I'm just letting you know what the judge who issued the warrant indicated. So you have to have your lawyer file a bond motion.
Okay, so I don't get a bond on the first count?
Not today.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, you got 3 counts.
Does it already have a bond on it? Then keep that. Because I think the warrant came in with no bond on 1 and 2. So Judge Morgan just indicated what to put on 1 and 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Jamel Levi.
Mr. Levi, you're here for a status hearing for a case out of Marion County in 19 CF 1457. Per Judge Sanders, your bond is to remain at none, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help coordinate your case in Marion County. Okay, they're going to give you a form that's going to give you the contact information to talk to a lawyer. Thank you, sir. Mr. Levi? Good morning, your name?
George Quinones Santiago.
Mr. Santiago, you're here for an out-of-county status hearing out of Walton County. Per Judge Shackelford, at this time, your bond is to remain at none. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help assist you with your case. Thank you, sir. That was Mr. Keone Santiago. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
Dakota Rowe.
Mr. Rowe, this is a status hearing out of Volusia County. At this time, per Judge Nichols, your bond is to remain as set. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Volusia County on your case.
I have a public defender.
Already.
Here in Orange County?
Yes.
Good, okay, so then get in contact with them about this case, and they know the procedures and how to get in contact with Volusia County to see if you can do anything on that case as well.
Already.
All right, because they're not transporting people to the different counties.
Okay.
All right, sir, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Cornel Smith.
Mr. Smith, you are also here for a status hearing out of Volusia County. Per Judge Foxman, at this time, your bond is to remain at none. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you with your Volusia County case, sir. Thank you. I don't know. Oh, yeah, so it's the same for both. Ma'am, good morning, your name?
Good morning. My name is Cheyenne Malcolm.
All right, Ms. Malcolm, you are here an out-of-county case out of Osceola County, 19 MM 3390. I spoke with Judge Arendis, ma'am, and if you'd like to enter a plea today, it would be an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, plus your court costs. Did you want to enter a plea to your case today?
No.
No? Okay, so you understand that this time your bond is going to remain at none?
So if I plead guilty, can you explain to me a little bit more?
Yeah, just a second, Ms. Malcolm, I misspoke. Your bond is $2,999. So you do have the option of posting a bond.
Okay, so you guys want me to plead guilty right now? And what would that do?
I don't want you to do anything. I'm just giving you your options.
Yeah,
So
can you explain that option for me one more time, please?
Right, so your options are to post bond, or you can enter a plea. If you enter a plea, you can enter a plea of no contest. You would be adjudicated guilty, so you'd be convicted of the crime of petty theft. You'd be sentenced to however many days you've been in jail with credit for that many days, and you'd have to pay court costs. And you have 14 days, so you'd have credit for 14 days.
Would I be released today?
You would be.
What happened to them giving the option? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, two people are just talking at once. I'm sorry, Courtney, tell me that. Okay, what's the bond on the Seminole case? 500. So Ms. Malcolm, you would not be released today because you have a Seminole County case that has a $500 bond. So you'd have to post that bond or get some help coordinating with Seminole County.
I thought that they said that bond was only $100.
They're telling me it's 500.
Then they told me, like, every time I called, when I first came to court, I'm not sure if you were the judge or if somebody else was, but they were told that I would be able to be released because Seminole said that they weren't coming to get me. So if I got bond for Osceola, that they would release me.
I wasn't at that hearing, ma'am. I don't know what the judge told you, but there's a $500 bond on that case. So today, though, this is your Osceola County case. Do you want to enter a plea or not? You can talk to a lawyer about it, and you can have them reset the case. You don't have to do it today. If you're unsure about it, I wouldn't do it.
So regardless, I wouldn't be able to be released.
That's right.
Okay, so then never mind. I wouldn't do it. I want to have more time.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. So I'm going to appoint the public defender on her case. Ms. Fowler, if you talk to her and kind of explain and give her some time to talk about that, you can reset it on my docket so you can email Jill because it's not a county case. So you just set it for one of the days that I'm here if she ends up wanting to resolve it. Okay? Oh. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Are you Miss Bender?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. You're here in 20MM 4477. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning.
Yep.
There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public to, actually, Ms. Fusco, do you have an offer before I appoint the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, 3 days with credit for time served, court costs, no return to scene of trespass at Rosewood 5700 North 1000 Trail.
All right. Ms. Bender, the offer from the state is 3 days. You have credit for 2. You'll be released today, and no return to the scene. Do you want to accept the offer?
I do. Yes, please.
All right. Did you read the plea form, ma'am, before court?
Okay. Actually, I can't really see it. I'm blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't really see it.
Can't read well. That form right there indicates that you are giving up your right to have a trial if you enter a plea. You're giving up the right to make the state of Florida prove that you committed the crime. You're giving up the right to call any witnesses or present any defenses on your behalf.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I do. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
No, thank you.
All right, ma'am. And you're not on probation?
No.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yep. Yes, Your Honor.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
All right, ma'am, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days or 3 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days time served. You're not to return to the Rosewood Plaza. You need to abide by the trespass warning. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by June 18th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Just step out.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Megan Campbell.
Ms. Campbell, you are here in case number 20MM4478. You were arrested for petty theft and resisting a merchant. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer for Ms. Campbell?
No, Your Honor, looks like there's some private history.
Okay. Ms. Campbell, you are not to return to SeaWorld. You are to abide by the trespass warning. I am going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail, and you need to appear at all court hearings.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Are you Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, you were arrested in 20MM4476.
Yeah.
You were arrested for trespass on property
Yeah.
after warning.
Yeah.
Mr.
So
Harris,
what?
you don't
Yeah,
have to,
yeah.
Mr. Harris, listen to me. You don't have to acknowledge everything that I say. I'm just explaining to you why you're here, okay?
Yeah.
Is there an offer for Mr. Harris? Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 3 days with credit time served, court costs, no return to scene of trespass at Aldi 4607 on Boston Road.
Mr. Harris, did you want to enter a plea this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court?
No, I didn't. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to. I already know the system.
No, but I am required to
Alright,
make
yeah,
you.
okay, you required. All right, yeah.
So read it for me and let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, that's what you want. I have appeared on the below listed date in court in county court, Orange County, Florida, has been advised by the judge. Okay. I have appeared on Yeah, okay.
Okay, do you have any questions about any of the rights?
No,
Are you on probation?
no.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that will affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs, which are due by June 18th of 2021. You're not to return to the Aldi, and you have 30. Mr. Harris, listen to me. Okay. Can't go back to the Aldi grocery store. Now, Mr. Harris, I'm not going to revoke your bond on your trespass case additional case that you have. Okay, but if you come back again on another trespass, you might not be so lucky.
Okay.
All right, so abide by the trespass warnings. Don't go where you're not supposed to be.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Hilliard?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you're here in 20 MM 4468. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning.
Yes.
There is probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, is there an offer for Mr. Hilliard?
Under adjudication of guilt, 3 days with credit time served, court costs, no return to the scene of the credit effect.
All right. Mr. Hilliard, did you want to accept the state's offer of credit time served?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation? Yes?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
All right, sir. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs, which will be due by June 18th of 2021, and you're not to return to the Acme truck stop.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name?
Jonas Irish.
Mr. Irish, this is 20 MM 4467. You were arrested for petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Irish?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, 5 days with credit time served, court costs.
Ms. Fusco, is there restitution in this case?
It is clear, Your Honor, with the reserve restitution.
Okay. Mr. Irish, the state has offered 5 days. You can accept that offer or you can plead to the court. What would you like to do?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. Well, your bond's also $250. So you can post bond, you can accept the state's offer of 5 days, or you can plead to the court.
Could I do the bond?
Sure. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, Mr. Irish. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You need to call them and make an appointment to talk to them about your case to see how you want to resolve it. And you need to do that within 24 hours of your release from the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Nerica Jorn.
What is it?
Nerica Jorn.
Okay. How about Miss Isabella?
She bonded, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. You're Miss Joran, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, this is 20 MM 4481. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there an offer for Miss Joran?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, 4 days with credit time served, court costs.
She has 2 days. Miss Jordan, if you wanted to plead to the court this afternoon, I would adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for time served, and pay court costs. Otherwise, I would release you on your own recognizance, and you can go talk to a lawyer about your case.
I want a lawyer.
Okay, so I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, ma'am. You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release to go talk to them about your case, and you must appear at all court dates. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name.
Gregory Lane, ma'am.
Mr. Lane, this is 20MM4479. You were arrested for violating a PTR condition on a domestic violence case. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Ma'am, I already have an attorney. You've been self. And I
see
swear,
that.
I never said anything to the alleged victim.
Well, listen. Mr. Lane, I know that Mr. Self would not want you to talk about your case today.
Right.
Okay? Everything that we talk about is recorded, so I want you to talk about that with Mr. Self. Would you like my office to contact him to let him know you're here, and I can reset your case for tomorrow so that he can be present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No problem. Then we'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Lane.
All right.
Yes, please. And I'll have Jill send them an email.
Hi, Your
Sir,
Honor.
good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Javier Israel Amaro Rodriguez Ponce.
Sir, this is 20MM4487. You were arrested for a violation of a condition of pretrial release.
Yes, Your Honor.
I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay.
There's probable cause, sir. Your bond is going to be $1,000, and then I'm going to revoke the bond in 20 CF 7277. That'll be set at none. You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in that case. Thank you. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Don Joseph.
Mr. Joseph, you're here in 20MM508. You're here for violating your conditions of pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am. I came here under the circumstances that I came in here yesterday. You turned me over to pre-release, and you put me in $100 bond, and I was supposed to not have no contact with Miss Jacqueline Hatch, neither the kids or anyone. And you appointed me a public defender, and I spoke to a public defender, a little lady a while ago. I said, I'm not going to disobey or go in no contact with Ms. Hodge or anything. I'm going to go forward and try to, I'm not going back there. I'm going forward. We're not going to disobey your rules and regulations that you told me. So I'm not going to go back there to that house or anything. I'm going forward. I'm not going to disobey the rules that you told me.
I'm going to call Sandy about this.
I just spoke to the public defender, the Chinese lady outside there, and when I went downstairs, you know what they did? They come and put a guy in my room, and the guy had on no bond, and it wasn't me. It was the other guy.
Mr. Joseph, okay, I'm going to look at something, okay? Just give me a minute, okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Courtney, can you tell me what the June 16th case was that he was here for? Or have a case number? Right, now I remember you, Mr. Joseph.
Huh?
And I said, now I remember you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we talked about how, we went over the no contact order again, correct?
We went over where you put me with $100, $100 bond. I represent a public defender for me. I'm supposed to not go back to Mr. Hodge house, call or contact with the kids or anything. I'm going forward. I'm not going to call or contact or create any problem. And you appointed me a public defender.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm going to release Mr. Joseph on his own recognizance at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges.
Appreciate it, miss. Have a blessed day.
You too, sir.
Likewise.
Excuse me? Yes.
So he's out on bond on something?
No, what happened was he was out on pretrial. He didn't understand the no contact order. He came and saw me. We had a hearing on it. I kept him on PTR and gave him a low bond on the new case. Then the PTR officer then went to another judge and got a warrant.
Oh, so I don't have to put nothing on the case on here? Oh, okay, just releasing it, because, right? I have to set it, right, to come back.
But now he's not on PTR. Yeah. Let me get that case number. I'm going to write that down. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Amanda Padilla.
Miss Padilla, this is 20 CO 519. You were arrested for soliciting without a permit. There's probable cause, ma'am. Is there an offer for Miss Padilla or Padilla?
Yes, Your Honor, for the soliciting without a permit, adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court costs.
Ma'am, did you want to resolve your case today?
Yeah, what was the offer?
Credit time served.
Yep.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days time served. You are going to have to pay court costs, which will be due by June 18th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, and I'm not going to revoke your bond on the petty theft.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Abreu Gonzalez, his behavior, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Miss, when we just, Mr. Joseph, you didn't find PC or you did on the violation?
It was a pretrial release warrant.
Right.
So I don't have to find probable cause for it.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Mr. Abreu's behavior?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to find a waiver of his appearance in 20 CF 7476 based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior. Appoint the public defender. He was arrested for burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and trespass in a structure. There is probable cause. He is not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Bond on count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2 is $100. Bond on count 3 is $100. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Charles with our Angel.
Your last name, Andrew?
Andrew, yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. You are here in 20 CF 7502. You were arrested for possession of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a convenience store, possession of a prescription drug without a prescription, and driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is going to be $1,000. Bond on count 2, $500. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on the driving while license suspended case will be $150, sir. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to have you tested through pretrial release. You are not to drive without a valid driver's license. And I'm not going to revoke your out on bond case. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You can just be on felony or the drug case. Good afternoon. Your name?
Not.
Mr. Bajnath?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. It's 20 CF 7495. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Bond on count 1 is going to be set at $2,500. Bond on count 2, $100. I'm also going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Gene Bartholomew.
Mr. Bartholomew, this is 20 CF 7521. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're
Yes,
to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release, and you are to appear at all court dates.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Blake Bronner.
Mr. Bronner, this is 20 CF 7515. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I am going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And you're to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail. You must appear at all court dates, and you're not to return to the Econo Lodge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Colbert Jr.
Mr. Colbert, you are here in case number 20 CF 7378. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The state has filed a 1-count information charging you with that crime. Your bond, sir, is $2,500. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Police Denmark.
All right. And then did Miss Davis bond?
We don't have her on our docket. Do you have an inmate number, Your Honor?
200-14034.
She bonded, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Denmark, sir, you are here. In 20 CF 7508, you were arrested for possession of methamphetamine and grand theft of a motor vehicle. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 150. I'm revoking the bonds in 19 CF 13564 and 20 CF 2967. Those are going to be set at none, sir. Thank you.
So it's no bond?
Correct. You have to have your lawyer file a motion.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Are you Ms. Dixon?
Hi.
Ms. Dixon, this is 20 CF 3722. You failed to appear for arraignment back on the 8th of June 2020. Your bond is $1,000 on each count. I will appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Christina Gonzalez.
Ms. Gonzalez, this is 20 CF 7473 and 20 CT 448 and 20 CT 449. In those cases, you were arrested for no valid driver's license and driving under the influence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint a public defender in both cases. Ma'am, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances or alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
No controlled substances without a valid prescription. Bond on count 1 is going to be 500. Bond on count 2 is 100. And in 20 CF 7473, your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. And then I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 6109. That's going to be set at none.
It's going to be what?
What?
Sorry.
The bondsman came off it? Okay, well, it's bond is set at none. All right, thank you, ma'am.
So which one? You left me at 1,100?
Yes.
1,000 and then subsidiary. And you said, oh, because you said count 1 have to go, no. Count 1 is out.
Oh, I see. So this one I left at 500 and that one I think was subsidiary on that.
So I forget on the traffic that you have citation numbers. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
Good. Tell me your name, please.
Drivers to real hard.
Mr. Harden, this is 19 CF 16872. You violated your conditions of pretrial release. At this time, your bond is set at none. You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion on your behalf, sir. Thank you. Mr. Fusco, I can't hear you.
Did Mr. Harden have a possession of also maybe?
Yes, he does. Dexter, could you bring Mr. Harden back for a moment, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Mr. Hellman, I missed one of your cases. You also have 20 CF 7506. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause for that case as well. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, and your bond is $1,000 in that case. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sharon, is that your signature?
Oh,
It's okay.
oh, no.
Mr. Hillman, you have 3 cases this afternoon. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all of them. You have 20 CF 7279. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for sale and delivery of cocaine, sale and delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a commercial center and possession of cocaine. Bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150. You're not to return to the scene, sir. You also have 20 CF 7288, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant for sale and delivery of cocaine, sale and delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a commercial center, possession of cocaine, and deriving support from proceeds of prostitution or lewdness. This was also pursuant to a warrant. Bond on count 1 will be $5,000, count 2, $150, 3, $150, 4, $150. You're not to return to the scene. You have 20 CF 7478, where you were arrested yesterday for possession of cocaine. There's probable cause for that offense. Your bond will be $1,000. And then I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 6814. Those will be set at none, and that's based upon the new arrest yesterday because the offense date was yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Hellman.
Howard June refused.
All right. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent Mr. June. Do you want to waive his appearance, Ms. Fowler? Okay, that's 20 CF 7466. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. Bond on count 1 is $10,000. Bond on count 2 is $10,000. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $150. He's not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Mr. John Hedridge is mental health.
Right. Ms. Fowler, I'm going to appoint your office. Do you want to waive his appearance? Do you want me to reset it? Okay. And that's in case number 20 CF 7493. He was arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. There's probable cause. He's not to return to public. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000. And then I'm going to revoke his release in both cases. The bond will be set at none. Yes. He's got 20 CF 4297, 20 MM 254, and 20 MM 2321. Good afternoon, are you Mr. Johnson?
How you doing, Mel?
Sir, you're here in 20 CF 7519. You were arrested for trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, possession of fentanyl, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, attempted resisting officer with violence. I find probable cause in counts 1, 2, and 3. I don't find probable cause in count 4.
Let the case go forward with the first 3 counts and are arrested for 4th hearing.
Yes. Mr. Johnson, Your bond on count 1 is going to be $25,000. Bond on count 2, $1,000. Bond on count 3, $100. You'll be ROR'd on count 4. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. And I'm going to have you tested through pretrial release, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Tell me your name, please.
Joshua Matthews.
Mr. Matthews, you are here in case number 20 CF 6974. You were arrested for pursuant to a warrant for failing to report or register. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. That's based on State v. James, which the Westlaw site is 20 WL 1870339, which was decided on April 15th of 2020 of this year. Mr. Matthews' report date is in May of 2020, which is where they said that he failed to register. And the case that I just cited was decided on April 15th. And then there's the violation of probation, 14 CF 11726, which is a warrantless arrest. It's an on-view violation of probation. And the only alleged violation of probation in that affidavit is the failure to register. There's no other violations of probation alleged. So I am not going to find probable cause for the violation of probation based upon the case that I just cited. It is State v. James. Yes. Mr. Matthews?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being released on this on-view VOP today. This doesn't mean that the state of Florida can't still choose to file charges against you or that your probation officer cannot get an actual warrant signed by a judge.
Correct.
So you could get arrested on this case, but I'm releasing you on it today. Do you understand? Okay, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Samuel Samoro.
Okay, so Jason Reelford, he bonded, and Melissa Rodriguez bonded?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Samaro, you are here in 2 cases. You have 20 CF 7496. You were arrested for robbery with a weapon, battery, criminal mischief, and petty theft. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you have a weapon or if you have a firearm, you need to surrender that to the sheriff's department within 6 hours of your release from the jail. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 2, $100, 3, $100, 4, $100. And then you also have 20 CF 7498. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a motor vehicle. There's probable cause for that offense. I'll also appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. Again, you're not to have any contact with the victim. And your bond will be $150 in that case. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, your name?
Reuben Wesley Shepherd.
Mr. Shepherd, sir, you are here in 20 CF 7512. You were arrested for trafficking in oxycodone greater than 4 grams, less than 14 grams. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint a public defender to represent you. Mr. Shepherd, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I am going to have you randomly tested through pretrial release, and I'm going to set your bond, sir, at $10,000. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Ignacio Solis.
Mr. Solis, you have 3 cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all of them. You have 20 CF, 7. Did you want to say something?
No, I'll let you finish, ma'am.
Do you have a lawyer? Is that what you were going to say?
No, I have a lawyer, but I was going to say something else, but I'll let you finish. But, man, I don't have a lawyer for that case, but if you could point me in a public defender, then that's fine. I appreciate it. But
Okay.
I was going to say because I got out, last month, and then the state trooper that pulled me over, he told me that I have a violation, so that's why he's bringing me in. And I was like, no, I already have court for Volusia on the 25th. And he said, no, he's like, you have a VOP, I gotta take you. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean that. I apologize. But I apologize, my bad.
I accept your apology. I can tell that you are upset, so I accept your apology. So, Mr. Solis, as I was saying, you have 3 cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you on all of them. You were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of drug paraphernalia to transport drugs, which I guess is the car. There's probable cause, sir. Bond on count 1 will be $500. Bond on count 2 will be $100. And then you have 20 CT 3885. You were arrested for driving a license suspended. Bond will be $100. And then there's the on-view violation of probation, which is based upon the new offenses that were alleged to have been committed yesterday when he arrested you. So there's probable cause for the violation of probation. Bond on that's going to be set at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with, it looks like it's Volusia County. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And they can help you coordinate on the VOP in Volusia County.
What do you mean?
Well, they're not moving the inmates between the jails right now, so you're going to want someone to help you with your Volusia County VOP. Because you don't have a bond on it.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Mark Frame.
Mr. Frame, this is 17 CF 16295. Sir, this is a violation of probation. It's alleged that you failed to pay your drug testing fees or successfully complete the batter's intervention program. At this time, your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you, sir.
What did she say?
Good afternoon. Your name?
Heather Custer.
How about Mr. Hart? Jared Hart?
Just one moment for Mr. Hart.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Harper's behavior.
Okay. So I'm going to find a waiver of Mr. Harp's appearance based upon his behavior and inability to come to court. Mr. Harp has 5 cases that are all failures to appear for drug court. All of the bonds are set at none. The public defender is appointed to represent him. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
You're Miss Custer?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. You are here in 20 CF 7514. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Walmart. Your bond is $1,000. You also have a violation of probation in 17 CF 16203, where it is alleged that you failed to report to probation as directed back in September of 2019. Your bond on the VOP is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender in that case as well, and you'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, your name?
Ma'am.
Mr. Lodi. All right. Looks like you've got several out-of-county probation cases, Mr. Lodi. So the first case I'll address, and I'll appoint the public defender to help you on all the cases today.
Yes, ma'am.
The first case you have is 20 CF 7454. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There's probable cause for that offense, sir. Bond will be $1,000. And then you have a case.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Give me a second, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You have an Orange County violation of probation, which is 19 CF 457. There's probable cause for a violation of probation in that case. You have 19 CF 329. That's also Orange County case, and there's probable cause for a violation of probation in that case. You have a probation case out of Osceola County and as well in Seminole. There's probable cause for all the violations of probation. Those are going to have a no bond. On the Orange County violations of probation, you will see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. For the Seminole and Osceola, I'll appoint the public defender on those cases here so they can help you coordinate with those other jurisdictions on your cases. Do you have a question, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Can you see for the GTA charge, the new charge, ma'am?
Yeah.
Did my bond like already being posted? Can't see that.
Courtney, what's his bond posted on the? Yeah, even if they tried, they're not gonna be able to post it. They're not gonna accept it because of your pending violations of probation.
Yes, ma'am. But don't that like speed like process up?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, ma'am.
Because you're not gonna be going anywhere on those out-of-county violations of probation because they're not transporting.
What? So for the VOPs and Seminole and Osceola, I'm gonna stay here for that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Until they start moving, and I don't know when that will be.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, but you have a lawyer on all the cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I can get a paid lawyer, right? Still.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Sure. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name.
Philip Pothier.
Sir, you're here at 19 CF 1006. You're here on a violation of probation. It's alleged that you failed to comply with all the instructions given to you by your probation officer and that you entered the do not enter victim exclusion zone area on June 6th at 9:38 until 10:05 p.m. At this time, sir, your bond is set at none. It's also alleged that you had contact with the victim, the victim's mother.
No,
that you violated. I'm just telling you what the allegations are, sir. I'm not commenting on whether or not they're true. You also violated your curfew, and you again went into the victim exclusion zone on December 3rd. Those are the allegations, sir. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you, and you're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Okay, on the June 6th one, what it was is I didn't have contact.
Oh, no, wait. Listen, you may have a defense to that allegation, but that's something you need to talk to your lawyer about because I can't resolve the case for you today, okay?
So there's no way I can get out?
Not today, no.
Because I haven't had contact with anybody I wasn't supposed to.
Sir, that's, again, I'm not saying that you did or you didn't. My job today is to tell you why you were arrested and then tell you your release conditions. Thank you. Shoot. Mr. Poither, I'm sorry, Dexter, I have to. Oh, sir, you have reporting requirements when you are released from the jail.
Yes, I already know that.
All right, great, thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Andre Williams, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, you were here for a violation of probation in 14 CF 4934. It alleges that you failed to register as required. You also failed to undergo a drug and alcohol evaluation, and you failed to submit to a urinalysis testing on a monthly basis. Your bond at this time is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When I went to court, when I got released last time, I was released from jail. The judge modified my sentence and gave me time served for my sentence. I don't even supposed to be on probation. He gave me time served and modified my sentence for time served. If you go back to the hearing I did, it said time served and I'm only supposed to be on probation. And they was trying to get it straight. They was trying to get it straight when I was out. They was trying to get it straight. I don't know what happened because the coronavirus came in, but I don't supposed to be on no probation or nothing. So.
Well, let me just take a look and see what I can see, okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am. I know he gave me time served for like 500 and some days, 500 some days, and my probation officer and my lawyer said that I was free. I was free. You know what I mean? So this is like just killing me. This is my fourth time.
Sir, listen, I'm sorry, I know you can't see, but there's someone else that's talking in the courtroom. I'm trying to listen to what she's saying about your case.
Okay.
So I just need you to hold tight for a minute,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. don't think he's on probation. Condition 1. So, Mr. Williams, I'm not exactly sure. I don't feel like the court order is clear. I don't know what the condition 1 was.
My probation officer told me, my public defender told me that I was free and I wasn't on no probation. And then when I got released, they made a mistake because when I was out, they was trying to figure it out. When I was out, they was trying to figure it out. And I had the paper at home. When they modified it, the judge modified my sentence and gave me time served and released me. And because this is my fourth violation on the same charge. This is the 2015 case. 5 years I've been going through the same thing. I've been to jail 4 times last year on the same case, and the judge like, why is you still on probation? And I mean, I got a lot of time served in and everything on the same case. I mean, I'm tired. I'm burnt out on the same case. I'm burnt out. I'm going back to back, in and out of jail on the same technicals. And I remember.
Mr. Williams, I know. I would be very frustrated too. But here's the thing. I'm going to email Judge LeBlanc, who's the assigned judge to the case. I wanted him to clarify the order for me. Because on the court minutes, it doesn't say revoked and terminated. I can't find anything just sitting here looking at the court file to see if there were other conditions of probation that I'm not aware of. I'm not saying what you're saying is not true at all.
Yes, ma'am.
I just need to verify it with Judge LeBlanc that you did 599 days. They modified your probation, and that's it. I'm going to do that now.
Yes, ma'am.
And then as soon as I get a response, we'll bring it back to court. I don't know when that will be, but you'll be brought back to court, or an order will just be entered.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's what I can do today.
So how long I got to wait? You don't know exactly how long?
Don't know, but I'm going to email him now, and he's usually pretty good, so I can't say for sure when he'll respond, but I know that he will. And once he does, either we'll bring it back to court or and we'll bring it back to court to let you know what the response was, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Derek Brown.
Mr. Brown, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County related to a violation of probation on grand theft. At this time, your bond is set at none, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you with your case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Ma'am. So, I'm not being transported at all?
No, they're not transporting right now because of the coronavirus.
So somebody here gonna be appointed for my case?
Yes, so you should get a piece of paper there in the courtroom that has the Orange County Public Defender's contact information,
Uh-huh.
and they're gonna help you with your case.
Okay.
All right, so they can still work on the case. You're just physically located here.
So I call this number right here?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Filmer, ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Fuller, just one second. Can I take
I'm
care of
sorry.
Mr. Ware?
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll do Mr. Ware, and then we'll call the lawyer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Mr. Ware, you're here for a violation of probation out of, it looks like Seminole County.
Yes, ma'am.
And the violation is a violation of curfew. Mr. I'm going to give you a $10,000 bond. Thank you, sir.
Dylan
All
Filmer,
right.
ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Filmer, just one second. I'm going to
Yes,
get your
ma'am.
lawyer on the phone.
That's fine, ma'am.
Hey, Mr. Hornsby, it's Judge Carter.
Hi, Judge Carter.
I have Mr. Filmer on the video. He's present. This is an out-of-county warrantless arrest, a violation of probation. Mr. Hornsby, have you seen the affidavit?
I have not. I don't know if you saw the email the probation officer said you violated the charge we addressed yesterday and we're technical, which you just tell me what it was.
So I have the email. Ms. Fusco, do you have a copy of that email? Okay, but you do have a copy of it? Yes? Yes. Okay. So I read the email, and I'm gonna file that, Mr. Hornsby, with the paperwork today. But what I have is this, what they did actually is a warrantless arrest, like an on-view violation of probation. So I don't actually have a copy of the warrant that is alluded to in the email from Clay County. This is just a regular arrest affidavit that is written by an Orange County deputy. And it indicates that he committed a new law violation of sex offender failure to register in violation of Florida Statute 943.0435 sub 14 on June 16th, as evidenced by case number 20 CF 6971. They indicate that they're going to file an affidavit in violation of probation that will be forwarded to Clay County Clerk of Court. And then it just indicates that on May 11th, 2015, He was sentenced to a term of 5 years DOC, followed by 10 years of sex offender probation for his charge. And then they give the case number in Clay County. And then it says an on-view warrantless arrest with a no-bond status is being conducted by Correctional Probation Senior Supervisor Sergi Franks. And then, so there's no indication in here that of the technical. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so Judge, my request for them would be that you find that, because you're familiar with the case, that you find there's, you either grant more warrant on the violation of this now, and then I can at least try to contact Clay County, to judge their side to issue a separate warrant.
Sure. I just have a couple questions. Mr. Hornsby, does Mr. Filmer live here in Orange County?
It's my understanding he just moved here, Judge, and I asked the court to inquire to get some specifics, because I know his parents who hired me live in Jacksonville.
Okay. Mr. Filmer, where do you live?
I live on 5235 Journal Avenue in Orange County, ma'am.
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
I've lived at that address for about 2 months, but I lived at 5318 Honda Way in Orange County for 2 months before that since my release from prison, ma'am.
Okay. And you have parents in Jacksonville?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Filmer, are you working?
I was going to Hire Quest. It's a job, labor-ready place.
All right. And you actually just started probation in February of this year, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Hornsby, has he had any other violations of probation since he started in February?
None that I'm aware of, Judge.
Okay. Where do you report to probation, Mr. Filmer?
I report to the one that's off of Silver Star.
Okay, but here in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard at all? Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard? I was talking to the prosecutor. I thought she wanted to be heard, but apparently she did not. So, Mr. Hornsby, this is what I'm going to do. So today, I'm going to again find that there is not probable cause for the violation of probation based upon this warrantless on-view arrest. The only information that's contained in this affidavit that's before the court right now is the same information that was before the court yesterday, and that is only the failure to register. And the case that was provided yesterday was the State v. James case. And that case was decided in April of 2020, and Mr. Filmer was required to report in May of 2020. So based upon the information that I have at this time, I do not see probable cause for a violation of probation. But just, I guess, in addition to that, based upon the email that we do have that says they violated him for a technical issue, I'm sure you're aware, Mr. Hornsby, that they're probably going to go get a warrant from a judge in Clay County. And okay, so he could be rearrested even though the court, I'm going to release some ROR on this one today. Even though I've done that, Mr. Filmer, and I'm sure your lawyer can explain this in much greater detail to you and will later, they can still get a warrant and you can still be rearrested on the same thing.
That's fine, but I'll still be able to get out and handle some business, ma'am?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And I think
Okay.
Mr. Hornsby can explain all the technical issues there, because I don't know what's going to be in the warrant, and they have the right to do that. But on what you have in Orange County today, I'm releasing you on.
Okay.
Okay. Does that all make sense, Mr. Hornsby?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Filmer.
How long, how long would it take for them to get that warrant, do you think, ma'am?
I don't know. That's
But there's a possibility that I could at least get out and be able
Mr.
to-
Filmer. 1 second, Mr. Filmer.
I'm
Hold
sorry.
on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know it's hard because
I
your
know.
lawyer's on the phone and you can hear
Go
me,
ahead,
and it's hard
ma'am.
to hear.
Go
so,
ahead, ma'am.
Mr. Hornsby, you're going to call him or come see him?
Yes, tell them not to ask me questions. I'll discuss it with them either once you get out or at the jail tomorrow.
Got it. So your lawyer doesn't want you to ask any more questions. He's going to come talk to you here at the jail or when you get out.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Mr. Hornsby?
No, sir. Thank you for accommodating me.
No problem. Have a good day. Bye.
The guy before him, you said at 10,000, right?
Yes. All right, and then we will put that, and then court will be in recess. I'll see you on Tuesday. All right. Thank you, Dexter.
Have a good weekend.
Hey, only the judges can get a punch your name in the system and pull up attorney. Trying to see if.
Inmate records, clerks.
Clerks got a number.
Yeah, they can pull up and see if they got an attorney.
No, like attorney that see if attorney's still practicing.